Here we have an ADR. We can see that the stock has been grinding lower and lower and lower with the selling accelerating, and then today we had a gap down and the stock finishing near its low. The 1 month basis chart had been fairly range bound, but when it broke that $55 support level, the selling accelerated. And on a 1 year chart, we can see that in general, the stock had been in an uptrend, and then as of recently, it's been in a pretty swift downtrend. Not the most interesting candidate because instead of an uptrend with the stock pulling back, I would rather see a downtrend with a little bounce that we would be shorting. So I'd probably not look at this as a good candidate. This stock looks fairly weak. 4 days ago, it had a gap down again. It bounced a little bit yesterday, but today it really fell hard along with the overall market. But the market snapped back, as you might recall. This stock did not. It continued lower and it closed near its low of the day. On a 1 month basis, this is looking promising. This is very nice, persistent selling with a big drop off and a selling climax right here. On a 1 year chart, again, we had a nice uptrend, and this stock actually has a little bit of a descending triangle. You can see if you connect the tops here and you connect this $30 horizontal support level, it's a little bit of a descending triangle, but it comes at the upper quartile of its trading range. So I'm not overly excited by it, but this might make a nice trade because you can see this $30 price level is very significant. If we go back to the 1 week chart, you can see how it's broken right through that $30 support level and the selling starting to pick up. So we will take a little bit of a closer look at this one. This stock was fairly quiet, drifting lower, big gap down today. Did rebound a little bit near the close. Take a look at the 1 month chart. Nothing too exciting. 1 year chart, take a pass on this. Very volatile. You can see the huge spike up and then the drop off here. We'll take a pass on this one. This stock looks like it's had a fairly tough week. It tried to rally early, but since then, look at how nice and tight and persistent the selling has been. Not an uptick to be seen. On a 1 month basis, fairly tight range and then a big, sharp drop off. On a 1 year basis, look at how nice this stock has been. Very tight trading pattern, higher and higher. This would be the type of stock that I'd actually be looking to buy. See on that pullback there and this rally here, that would be the type of reversal I would normally be looking for because the uptrend lines were still intact. However, once it rolled back over and it broke that uptrend line, that told me to get out of the trade because the stock was no longer in a bullish formation because it broke the trend line. Since it did that, you can see it broke horizontal support here and the selling is accelerating. There'd have to be something very dramatic for me to want to do a short on this stock. I do know it personally. I think it's a very solid company. And I have to say right off the bat, I'll take a pass on it, although I would want to investigate what the heck is going on right here. This is a nice candidate. Once again, we can see nice tight selling. Hardly any short covering rallies on an intraday basis. The sellers just keep pounding and pounding and pounding this stock. On a 1 month basis, very nice. A lot of the same. Accelerated selling here. And on a 1 year basis, once the stock broke down here, this has been very weak. This is an excellent candidate. We can see that it's a financial stock, and we know that the financial stocks have been very, very weak. This stock looks pretty choppy. I'm guessing the volume is probably pretty thin. We had a nice gap down today with the stock closing near its low. On a 1 month basis, we can see that the stock has also been very weak with accelerated selling here. And on a 1 year basis, very choppy action. This would not be one of my favorite candidates here. This one looks promising. Nice tight selling. Closes near its low of the day. On a 1 month basis, you can see a big drop off, a drift lower, still drifting lower, and then an accelerated decline right here. Very interesting. Fairly choppy. We can see that through the course of the last year, even during good times when the market was rallying, the stock was fairly range bound. Here we can see that it's broken significant support at $70. Some accelerated selling here, so it could be of interest. Here we see very nice tight selling. Stock closes near its low of the week. Range bound in here with a big drop off recently, but still of interest. And here we can see it's Bank of Montreal, so once again financial sector. The drop below $59 is significant. Very choppy compared to the other stock that we had. Given the choice between the two, I would opt for the other, but I wouldn't rule this one out. Here we have another stock. The 1 week chart looks pretty good. Big gap down. Continued selling. 1 month chart, stock drops off very sharply. Very choppy 1 year chart though, so I'm going to take a pass on this one. It did have a significant horizontal support breakdown at $53 here, so it's of interest but not my first choice. And then finally we have WYNN Resorts. Choppy price action, but the stock is overall moving lower. On a 1 month basis, we can see a rally attempt here. Fairly big sell-off, stock levels off, and now it looks like it's starting to resume a little bit of a downtrend here. On a 1 year basis, I wouldn't touch this. You can see the stock was in a fairly narrow range. It skyrocketed, fell hard, had a bounce. Now it's testing that support level. This stock has a lot of speculators in it. There's a lot of promise in its Macau casino property, so we'll take a pass on this stock. Out of all of the stocks, this is my chart of the week. iStar Financial. Here we can see that throughout the course of the week, it has had persistent selling. Hardly any bounces. And today, when the market actually reversed going into the close, this stock continued to drift lower and lower, and it sold off, and it closed right on its low of the day. In the 1 month chart, we can see just a steady drift lower, and once it based and broke that support level at $22, it fell very, very quickly. And on a 1 year basis, we can see that this stock has not had much of a bounce in any way, shape, or form in the last 6 months. Remember, this is only a starting point, and there's a lot more research that needs to be done on this particular company. But from a technical standpoint, everything tells me that this is an excellent shorting candidate. And that's why it makes my chart of the week.